In this video, we're going to talk about one of the most important pieces to your financial puzzle that if you miss this piece, you're probably going to end up regretting it. This piece is so important, it's so critical that if you don't get this piece in place, you could have a significant loss and be completely ruined because you didn't have this set up properly. And that is insurance. You have got to have proper insurance planning as part of your overall financial plan. Let's take a look and see the different types of insurance and make sure that you have what you need. My name is Paris Clough, and this is Financial Self-Reliance. I absolutely love helping people manage, protect, and grow their money. And in this video, we're going to talk about the importance of protecting your assets, protecting your money, protecting yourself, the number one asset that you have. See, we will buy insurance for our phones, we'll buy insurance for our houses, we'll buy insurance for our cars, we'll buy insurance. Every time you leave the hardware store or the electronics store, you get a little pop-up in the kiosk as you pay to, would you like to buy the insurance protection for this product or service? So every time you have an opportunity to buy insurance, you need to really consider it because it's so important. The number one asset that we need and that we have, I'll tell you what it is at the end of the video, but I want you to guess. What do you think is the number one asset that you have as a person? What is your number one asset? And let's talk about proper insurance for our assets. All right, let's jump into this video. I have a presentation that I've been giving for a little bit. It's a seminar that I do for some folks here locally in my town, and I'm going to jump right in here with some of the slides here. So we're going to talk about what I call step number 5, which is shield and protect with insurance. So there's 4 main categories of insurance. The 4 main categories are liability, property, health, and life insurance. So let's talk a little bit about each one of those. As we jump into it, auto insurance is probably one of the most common. Everybody knows that you can't really drive a car off the car lot in America without having auto insurance. Nobody's going to sell you a car without having auto insurance in place. Auto insurance is critically important. You need to have it as you're driving on the roads in case of an accident, in case anything happens to you, or whether it's by your fault or the fault of someone else. In fact, interestingly enough, I'm teaching my son how to drive. And today, as we were driving to high school, I was driving to the high school to drop him off for an after-school event, and a car pulled out, did a left turn right in front of us. Thankfully, we were already kind of slow, and he was able to control the car. And I said, "Hit the brakes, bro, because we need to be safe, and we need to make it to our destination." So, auto insurance is critical. There's a lot of opportunities for accidents throughout our lives, and so make sure that you have the right kind of auto insurance. Now, one thing that's critical about this is to shop around. Make sure you're doing your best to get the right kind, get the right coverages. Make sure you're doing at least the legal limit. And then also something that's really important is make sure that you're getting the right deductible. So if you've followed my channel for a little while, you'll know the importance I've already emphasized on having an emergency fund. Now, if you have a large emergency fund, maybe several $1,000s, because you've built up and you did your budget, you've worked on your positive cash flow, and you've built up an emergency fund, you can have a higher deductible. Now, having a higher deductible is going to give you a lower monthly premium. Lower monthly premium means what? That's exactly right. Higher cash flow. So the higher the cash flow, the better. And so you want to have as low a monthly premium as possible so that you can enjoy those lower premiums and higher cash flow, that you can use that money and save that money and earn interest on that money. So the next form of insurance I want to talk about is something called renter's insurance. Now, not a lot of people know about renter's insurance, and it's important, I think, to have renter's insurance because there's a significant amount of people that don't own a home or don't own a property where they're living. They rent, whether it's an apartment or whether it's a house. And I promise you that the homeowner's insurance for the owner of the property, they're not going to pay for your stuff if that gets burglarized or damaged in a flood or a fire or in an earthquake. If you have any items that you want to keep protected and keep safe and you're renting, you need to get renter's insurance. That's so important. Whether it's a burglary or whether it's a natural disaster, whether it's a fire or some kind of disaster, you need to have renter's insurance, and make sure that you document all of your most important things. Most importantly, you take a video. I would take a video of all of your most important things with a serial number. That way, when you have a loss or a burglary or a fire or something, and you make a claim, you can actually prove to your insurance company that you owned that item because you have a video of your items. You have a video of the serial number, the model number, everything right on your video, and make that an important place where you're putting that in an important place so that if you have a fire, it's not going to get burned with the fire. So renter's insurance is really important. Homeowners insurance, everybody knows for sure. If you own a home, you got to have homeowners insurance. No mortgage company that I know about is going to give you a loan without you having some kind of homeowners insurance to go along with it to protect the home. And that's protecting the mortgage company. They're not going to lend you hundreds of thousands of dollars and have that house burned down and now you're up a creek because you didn't get homeowners insurance. Insurance protects your home. If anything happens, if it burns down or if there's a flood or if there's damage, you know what? Homeowners insurance, actually several of them have a policy or a part of the policy where if somebody gets hurt on your property, they will take care of that homeowners, that injury. Where I live, there's snow on the ground. So if somebody's walking up to my house and to knock on the door and they slip on a step, they could literally sue me for having not shoveled the snow properly or something. And so having homeowners insurance is really critical. There's another type of insurance I'm going to talk to you about here in a minute that you can put alongside your homeowners insurance to really give you some extra coverage. But homeowners insurance is critical. You've got to have homeowners insurance. The next one, this is one of the number one questions we talk to our employers about whenever we're getting a job or looking for a job, is health insurance. We all know that there's at some point in our lives, we're probably going to have a health concern, whether it's dental or vision or some kind of illness where you got to go to your doctor and get some medications or some prescriptions. So health insurance is crucial to your success as an individual. The number one cause of financial hardship is medical bills and not being able to pay medical bills and having medical problems. So making sure that you have the right kind of health insurance and making sure that you're covering some of those deductibles. Out-of-pocket medical expenses can be one of the number one killers of your financial life. And we're going to talk a little bit about a way to make sure that your out-of-pocket medical expenses are taken care of here in just a minute. Here it is. This is our medical savings plan. Now, You've heard of me talk about sinking funds. And sinking funds is where you take money every month and put it in a fund that's designed for a specific purpose. For example, if you have a Christmas fund or a birthday fund or a car insurance fund, those are the places where you put money every month and so that you can pay that annual payment. Have that money set aside and available for you when you need it. Medical savings plans are exactly that. They're an opportunity for you to put money into an account that's specifically designed to cover those out-of-pocket medical expenses, which is one of the biggest killers for anybody's financial future. If you don't have some kind of savings for medical expenses to cover your deductible, to cover your maximum out of pocket, to cover your copays, to cover all the different co-insurances that you might have, you're going to wind up with some serious hardships. In fact, I have a fantastic medical savings plan. It's probably the best medical savings plan I've ever seen. It's better than an HSA. Most people have an HSAs where you put money in and then you invest that money and you hope that there's the benefit that you want when you go to use it. So, if it's invested in the stock market, your balance may be up or down depending on the stock market. If it's invested in bonds, or maybe it's invested in a CD, or maybe it's invested in a savings account, whatever your HSA is invested in, that's going to determine what your benefit is. What if there was a place you could put money into as a medical savings plan and you knew exactly guaranteed what your benefit would be in 3 months, in 6 months, in a year? What if you knew by putting X number of dollars every month in a year, you'd have this much money to spend and to use towards your medical expenses? That's the kind of thing I'm talking about, and it's absolutely fantastic. Hit me up if you'd like to know more about it. Send me an email to hello@financialselfreliance.net and put in the subject line, medical savings plan info. All right, let's jump to the next thing here. So Medicare. Most of you are probably under 65, according to the demographic on my channel and my analytics. Most of you are under 65, but if you know somebody who's 65 or older, they have got to get some kind of Medicare supplement or Medicare Advantage plan. Make sure that they're getting the right kinds of things. Part A is for hospitals, Part B is for doctors, Part D is for prescriptions, and then Part C is that Medicare Advantage plan. And if they want to go that route, that's a great route to go, depending on where they live and the different Advantage plans that are available for them. Otherwise, a Medicare supplement is fantastic with a prescription drug plan to go along with it. Definitely, if you're 65 or older, or if you qualify for Medicare because you're disabled or have been disabled for the last 24 months, then you definitely want to make sure you have some proper coverage from your Medicare. You don't want to be stuck with those deductibles and those co-insurances. All right, the next thing is life insurance. Life insurance is probably the one thing that most people kind of skip in their insurance planning process. But remember when I asked you earlier, what was the number one asset that you could insure? Now we've talked about our homes, we've talked about our cars, we've talked about our renting, we've talked about medical, our health. A lot of times our health is a huge asset. In fact, it's probably right there near the top, if not the second one. The number one asset, literally the number one asset that you have is you. You're the one who makes all the money for your family. You're the one that has the skill sets, the knowledge, the training. You're the one that has all of that for your family and for the people that you love and care about and that you're taking care of. Why do you insure your phone? Why do you insure your house and you insure your car and you insure everything else, but you don't insure your life? There's the statistics show that most people don't have insurance, and those that do don't have enough life insurance. So make sure that you're getting the proper amounts of life insurance. If you don't know how much to get, if you don't know which kind to get, we're going to talk about that in a minute, then definitely send me another email at hello@financialselfreliance.net with, hey, life insurance info in the subject, and I'll make sure that I get back to you and we set up a time to have a consultation, and I make sure that I help you with picking the right kind of insurance for yourself. So let's take a look at some of those things. So first of all, in life insurance, there's different kinds, as I talked about a minute ago. The first kind is term life insurance. Term means temporary, or stands for temporary, and it can go from 5, 10, 15, 20, or 30 years. And then it's renewable. So you can renew it for another period of time. Now, when you renew it, it's often going to be a significant increase in price. So make sure that you're getting the right type of term insurance for what you're supposed to do. And the next kind is whole life. I highly recommend anybody that wants to create a financial plan and absolutely develop a plan that will go into estate planning and be part of estate planning, they need to have either whole life or universal life. Those two plans can be really, really powerful pieces of your financial plan, especially when I mean, this is my opinion, and what I've done as a life insurance agent for the last 20 plus years, one of my favorite policies is these universal life policies. If you do it right, if you build it right, if you structure it properly, it can be an absolute boon to your financial future. And a mutual company is basically a life insurance company that's owned by the policyholders, not by it's not a corporate company. And there's a few things that are pretty cool about that. So, but those are the main things in key terms in life insurance that I kind of wanted to share and make sure you knew about. The next thing is disability insurance. Now, a lot of people don't realize this, but at some point in your life, you might become disabled or might have some kind of injury where you can't keep working. Now, people who have jobs traditionally are paying into a system, Social Security disability, and that's actually that on your paycheck, that line item, Social Security /disability, that's paying for a disability insurance from the government, but you can also buy your own disability insurance if you'd like to enhance that or increase that. All right, the long-term care. This one is one that most people don't even can think about. Long-term care is so important. There's a statistic that says that 1 in 3 Americans will have a long-term care episode. What that means is you'll be in a long-term care facility for 3 months or more. And so the best time to buy long-term care insurance is when you're young enough, probably in your 40s, 50s, maybe at the latest. But I had a client of mine recently call me, and they're on Medicare, and they called and said, hey, I need to go into a facility. Well, actually, it was the daughter that was calling on behalf of my client. They said, mom needs to go into a facility. What do we do? Does Medicare cover anything like that? And unfortunately, they don't. So long-term care insurance is not the same as health insurance. It's not the same as Medicare insurance. It's a whole separate form of insurance. So make sure that you have somebody that you can sit down with, and when you're doing your insurance planning, make sure you bring up long-term care insurance. If you'd like to know more, hit me up at hello@financialselfreliance.net, and I'll make sure to help you along that insurance planning process. Next here is umbrella policy. So I shared with you earlier that when you have a homeowner's policy and somebody falls or somebody gets hurt on your property, and the homeowner's insurance policy may cover up to a certain dollar amount for those types of things, an umbrella policy can come in and cover even more. So on my personal experience, in my personal situation, I have a homeowner's policy, I have a car insurance policy, and I have $1 million umbrella policy. So the insurance if somebody slips and falls in my home or something happens to my home, I literally have an opportunity there to have my homeowner's insurance take care of it. If they sue me or if something comes at me above and beyond that, I have another $1 million of coverage on my umbrella policy that I can use to be able to protect my assets. The last thing you want to be is sued. And if you are sued, the last thing you want to have is no insurance or no umbrella policy or no coverage or nobody to help protect you. Thousands of dollars go into lawsuits, tens of thousands of dollars in some cases. And I've actually heard of some lawsuits, the minimum is like $100,000 for a retainer for a lawyer for certain types of lawsuits. So if you don't have good coverage, if you don't have good insurance, you literally could lose everything in a bad decision or in a moment's notice of a tragedy or of an earthquake or a fire or a car accident or a slip and fall at your home. I mean, you just don't ever know what's going to happen. And life and all kinds of insurance. And insurance is going to be a significant part of your protection, keeping you safe and protected. So in this video, we've taken a macro level look at the different types of insurance that are out there. I hope that you take the time to protect you and protect your assets by making sure that you're properly insured and that your insurance planning game is up to par, up to speed, and ready to go. I hope you got a lot out of this video. If you missed the last one I produced, you can catch it here. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel up here and check out this video that YouTube thinks you might like. Until the next video, have a fantastic day.